There was a king whose grief poisoned his own land. When his son fell ill, the court summoned the only healer they trusted. This healer tried everything he knew, but it wasn't enough. And so the prince died, and the king needed someone to blame. His sorrow hardened into rage, and he drove the healer from the palace and declared him a danger to the entire kingdom. The healer, a young man named Jungyo, fled into the mountains. The king, whose name was Gangbom, stayed behind. This all took place long before the Adinian Republic existed, back when the three kingdoms still ruled their own lands. And after that, nothing in the land recovered the way it normally would have. The rain slowed, and crops failed. Year after year, the land weakened. The court tried new rituals to change things. They swapped in new advisors, new cures, but none of them worked, because Jungyo had been the one who had understood the land. And if he ever returned, he would be killed on sight. Then the king began to show the same symptoms that had taken his own son. The court panicked. No healer could stop it, and as the drought entered its third year, King Bom began to fade. That was when Jungyo appeared at the city gates, alone. He told the guards he had come to heal the king, and he knew what that meant. If he failed, he would die, but he simply could not watch the kingdom rot. Not when he believed he finally understood the illness that had taken the prince. King Bom agreed to see him, and gave him just one chance. And so Jungyo entered the court carrying a small vessel, an experimental treatment born from grief and the memory of a boy he had loved like a son. The advisors warned the king, what if it was poison? What if this was Jungyo's revenge? King Bom hesitated, but then he chose to trust Jungyo. And so the healer applied the treatment. For a moment, the king's body seized up. Guards raised their bows, but then the pain vanished. The king stood up. The sickness was indeed gone. King Bom dismissed all his guards and admitted the truth at last, that he hadn't hated Jungyo the healer. He had hated his own grief. He had blamed Jungyo and the deep magic that Jungyo used because it was easier than facing the loss of his son. And so Jungyo stayed. In the days that followed, the king recovered. The healer worked with the farmers, adjusting the soil and water. New rains came. The drought broke. To this day, the people of Akeda still argue. Was it really the deep magic that solved everything? Was it Jungyo's knowledge? Or was it the moment the king finally let go of his resentment that solved everything? No one agrees, but what they do know is this one fact. The land healed when the king and the healer worked together again.